Already, let me turn this fan off. Already at day two, it's just awful. So I'm going to tell you about day two and day three and why I didn't feel like talking about this. Because it's almost like I've gone ahead and thrown in the towel because it's too much. I remember when my daddy, when he talked about racism and stuff like that, and there's no racism here that I'm aware of, but just the premise of his thought process on racism was that if you can't beat them, join them, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going into that. But he was a good man, by the way. My mom is a good woman too. Good people. But I've been disowned, but still good people. I think it was all for the best. But let me tell you about day two. We're reversing. So day two was awful. It was terrible. It was the most horrendous thing ever. I told you about day one, and my thing, day one was about security, cybersecurity, and how I felt like, just completely awful. I felt terrible about it. I felt like, there's a breach of privacy all the way around. Day two was just completely inappropriateness. I got over that cyber part or whatever. I don't know if somebody watched and, whatever. But day two was absolutely awful. The person that was leading the thing, the young girl that I was talking about, she was saying how, oh, yeah, don't forget professionalism. And this is the same BS they say at every like low level get home job. But professionalism, always have your camera on and this, that, and other. I don't know if you hear that. I don't know what that is, but probably the refrigerator. I don't know what it is. I'm not, you know, it is whatever it is. But so anyhow, and then, they got to where they were introducing like all the managers and stuff like that. And this is really what bothered me because I got over the messed up cyber part. And I'm like, okay, maybe somebody watched and they corrected it or whatever. But then, and of course, I did my part to make sure that it was good. But then, I'm starting to put, whenever I do something, anything, I like to put my all into it, right? Even if it's just the thought process behind it. So then the lady, the girl, young woman, this is a 22, 23-year old, the young woman says, and, respect, you know, out of professionalism, and I've always had my camera on, out of professionalism, and this is where everything went wrong. I'm gonna tell you, everybody had their camera on, blah blah blah. So the quote unquote leadership people, managers or whatever, came in, and the first three, were okay. They had their cameras on, and they were all white, by the way, which the race part. I'll tell you why the race part comes in. I'll talk about it in a minute. But all white women, semi-professional, down to earth. All right, good. One of them was trying to be hardcore, and I think the more hardcore people try to be, the more they show their lack. That's how I feel about it. Because if I look at myself, and if you look at homeless people, sometimes they come off harder because there's a lack. They have to play catch up. They have something to prove, right? But I get it. She had the decency to have her camera on, and that's one thing I can respect is people that stand up for whatever they are and whoever they are. Those are the three white women. Okay, nice. Okay, this first two remind me of my best friend in middle school. The third one, I could tell she's been through some things, but it's okay. So then comes the black people. And I say this because none of the black people had their camera on. All of them were ghetto. If you rewind back to the video about the girl walking across my yard, they were that type of ghetto, street ghetto, nothing to lose ghetto. And the first one guy came on, and he sounded like he was gay. And he was like, oh, I got promoted to a whatever, whatever in 2 weeks. The first week is training. The second week, he got promoted to this. And they're saying to keep your cameras on out of professionalism, whatever. This Negro can't show his face. You hide him behind a blank screen. How disrespectful is that? And it says a lot. All the white people had theirs on. What's wrong with you? So it says a lot. So I already, I'm like, are you kidding me? And then the black girl comes on. And again, I'm telling you the black from the voice, right? And just, I don't even have the words. I didn't even talk about this yesterday because Then the black girl comes on and she said, "Oh yeah, I want to hear everybody sounding all excited and saying hey and whatever." And she was ghetto. She didn't say use that voice, but it was just over the top um, enthusiasm. But didn't have her camera on. I'm like, you want to hear everybody speak? Can you turn your camera on so we can see your face? That's how I felt about it. So disrespectful. And then, like I said, that's what they do. Like, you have one person that'll, go by company values and things like that. And then you have nobody follow that, or whoever wants to follow it, and nobody sees it. You know what I'm saying? And so, at that point, I'm just like, this is just a bunch of BS, and I'm already done, but I don't have any choice because I need to make money. And it's not a lot of money. This is no money. And that's another thing that I have to talk about on day 3. I'll talk about that too, because that got on my nerves as well. But let me finish up on day 2. I didn't talk about it, but, let's just get it out there. And then the third person was a black person, but again, didn't put his face on camera. And I think it's because the other black people didn't, and he wanted to show solidarity with the black person. He was a little better spoken, and he made some sick joke about how he don't really like none of these people, whatever, whatever. You know, what kind of people? So all of these people within 2 weeks got these quote unquote promotions. So, you know, it is just so ghetto to me. I mean, those are not my type of people. And it's a job. Why don't you have your camera on, especially if you're somebody in leadership? It just really annoyed me. Camera all up in the sky everywhere else. So it just really got on my nerves, right? I thought it was so unprofessional. And at that point, that was the breaking point where I'm just like, F it. F it, I just that's not, and I feel, and this is where, and then today is where the tears would come in. And I didn't want to talk about this, but I didn't want too much time because this is the breaking point already. Day 2 is the breaking point. That was a breaking point. And then when I say breaking point, I have, I have to at least make it through, through the week. But it's not my thing. You know, what is wrong with people? What that tells me when they come and they brag that, oh, I worked here for 2 weeks and I got promoted. 1 week was training. The second week you was just there, and you obviously didn't get promoted because of your professionalism. You got promoted because you probably said, "Oh, I have supervisor experience, I have manager experience," and you were pushy about it. You know what I'm saying? And those types of people, those not the type of people I want to even work with. Let's work under. No, you know, and not to say just because it's a low paying job, but it could be a job where you're making $30 an hour. And if you have people, I see the goodness about giving folks opportunities, but it's just a whole big ghetto mess. And I remember going back to yesterday, and I'm gonna start doing this every day, but going back to yesterday, I remember feeling like I wonder how that white woman felt that she was so professional, had her camera on all this, and here come these folks just messing it all up. Messing it all up. And at that point, I just think I didn't care anymore, you know? And then you had people, and this was yesterday. And but after that happened, it was free for all for me. I didn't care no more. But where's my oh. So yesterday, then like I said, one girl never has her camera on at all. I have no idea what she looks like. Then nobody has their first and last name. Some people have intentionally misspelling the name, fake names, and I'm thinking about just just so much, you guys. I just can't even get to it. And then you can see where some guy serving her food. You don't see nothing but the top of her ponytail at the top, and somebody passing over food. You know. And so when I came back from our break, I had my burger on camera because I'm just like, at that point I was done. I was just like, you know, how do you have people in leadership behaving that way? How do you condone it? And the white person that went first, she was the operations manager, didn't have a word to say about that. These are people that she was part of the process of putting in those positions. No. All I can say is no. Hell to the no. No. And so that's when you know that it's just about a job because she showed professionalism in the way that she behaved. But how are you over all these other people that don't? And it's not gonna matter if somebody tell you they were unprofessional because they doing it right in front of your face. Who wants to work somewhere like that? I don't. I do not. You know, reality is there's good and bad people wherever you work. There's professional and non-professional. But how do you work somewhere like that and that shit don't rub off on you? You know what I'm saying? I'm not the same person I used to be. So, like I said, my dad said you can't beat them, join them. I'm not joining them all the way, but I'm not, giving my 150, 200%. It's an easy job, but it's not even about that. It's about professionalism. And then everybody made it a point to have their camera pointing all over the place. And so, you know, I just ew, ew. And then on top of that, then after those people were so unprofessional that were in leadership, the real rowdy raunchiness in the people that actually in that group that I was in came out. Their non-professional came out. Oh, I don't know if that guy was Indian or something. Oh, forgive me if there's anybody Indian in this room. I'm not of Indian descent. Everybody else looks straight up black or white, and there was one Hispanic person. So I don't know but it was just so, if you have to say forgive me if anybody in this, if you think it may be offensive, don't say it. You at work. You know what I mean? And then somebody else said something about, oh, I don't mean to be funny, but he sounded like a he, she, or whatever on the phone. There's a person in our group who's, female, we know because they call the name and they prefer to go by a male name. When you look at them, looks like a male. But, there's like, oh, it's a he, she, and whatever, whatever. What is wrong with people? And had those people that were in leadership that came and they said they were introduced, what's the point of introducing yourself if you don't have your camera on? You know, in my younger days, I would have just been like, when she said, "Oh yeah, let me hear y'all, let me hear your excitement, let me see your face." I would have got us like, "Can we see your face? We don't know what you look like." And it was all the black people standing in solidarity, and of course they do need people, but when you have people like that you put in the powers of position, you're not going to get any good people because they're going to have to be just like that guy. I think was probably decent, but he was like he don't like none of these people. You tell he was more professional, but he was trying to make sure that he got in with the other black people. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't. So that was my breaking point. I was done. I was at that point. I was it was nothing for me to say, nothing for me to report on because it's too much. It's too much. And then what happened today? I'm sure something happened today that I don't remember that I remember later on because I blocked it all out because the honest to God truth is I don't want to be there. It doesn't take nothing but when it doesn't even take usually by the application process or the interview process, I know I don't want to be there. But this one, you know, I made concessions. Application, interview, okay, fine. I made concessions. But then, the woman jumping on your computer without permission, that's your personal shit and disclosing all your information. And then you have managers that's bragging about how they got promoted after 2 weeks when the first week is training. So they just desperate. And these folks just as ghetto as they want to be, setting the example, not even having their cameras on. And then, like I said, people managing, curse with somebody cursing in the back, noise all in the background. That's not professional. You know, I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like it all. And then I thought about the job that I had that I kind of sort of liked, and how I didn't get any closure as to what actually happened. And then it dawned on me what happened because I was working on a situation with a personal network that I was working on. And I had a situation where I had two different networks, and I was trying to, I didn't have it set up for ad hoc. I didn't have it available. So I was trying to network the two separate ones together. And I repeated, I repeated a IP address. And you can get away with that as long as both of the networks aren't going at the same time. And I remember somebody said something about the DNS and how, it could really mess up something. All you have to do is reset it back to the default and it all resets, you know. But people will do things to sabotage other folks, and so I realized that's what it was. That's why I really got to get my own thing going for real. But in this situation, it's just a bunch of ghetto folks, and then with everybody working at home now, you know, there are so many jobs that are available, like for customer service slash tech, and so you have people that don't know shit about shit that are now saying they're tech, and and then that's when the claws start coming out because in order to keep their position, it's something different, and you see it too. Like when you go to all these random like this, that's how I'm supporting myself and trying to find these businesses, these random ass tech and customer service jobs in my online store. And this is where the tears, where I want the tears to come in. This is why I even recorded this because I didn't want to, because it's all downhill. And this has been the pattern that I've had over the years. When I see things I don't like, you know, at first I'm like, okay, it'll be okay. Then day two it gets better. But then it's like by day three, I'm like, oh hell no. You know, it's just like I have to numb myself and put on blinders so I don't see what's going on in order for me to work there. That's why when people say they work somewhere 20, 30 years, how? How do you do that? How? How? I don't get it, you know? And I am going to reach out to one of my former coworkers that reached out to me, and God bless her, by the way. She's actually a superior, but because I said I wasn't going to reach out to her, back out to her until after I published my children's book, because I know that she was working on one too. And did I publish it? I think I did. And this is where the tears come in. Okay, so the goal for me working whatever random ass jobs that I'm working, you know, is so that I can fund my businesses. And what usually ends up happening, it gets to the breaking point where I'm like, okay, I can't take it no more, or whatever. And then I start focusing back on my businesses, and I need money again. And so then I have to go back to work, and then it fucks me up because I can't do both. Ideally, what'll happen is that you give your minimal amount to whatever employer job that you got. And then when you get off work, you work on your stuff like it's a part-time job and you do it crazy, which would work, you know what I'm saying, for the first couple of days or whatever. It kind of worked that way. Okay. But then what I found, it's just a series of events. Some of it's coincidence and some of it's, you know, just me needing to better manage my feelings towards it. But like, I didn't get any sleep yesterday. One is a couple different reasons it could be. I say bed bugs, but no, I don't think so because I straightened that situation out, right? But you know, maybe there's some remnants. I have a high threshold of pain, so maybe I'm not really feeling it. And but I didn't sleep really yesterday. I slept well when I got off work. I went to sleep, like immediately went to sleep. I was that tired, and I woke up at like 1, and it was like I was drowsing every 2 hours, and then I woke up, and and I don't know. I think it's a combination of reasons. It may be bed bugs that I'm not aware of because again, high threshold of pain. I did have them because I did see them, right? But then the second part of it is because I really don't want to go back. I know that my personal stuff is suffering. I don't want to go back. I don't I can't, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to, but I have to. I am working, you know, but I don't want to do that because this is what happens. So by day three, again, I haven't done anything towards my own business or whatever like that. Because when I got off, again, I was immediately tired. I don't know why I'm tired, but I woosawed, right? And then I want to unwind, and I'll unwind in different ways. Like I got hopped up on this chat thing, you know, for moral support, encouragement, whatever. And so, and where's my moves? So the thing about it is this, that I see where it just really wears me out to be somewhere that I don't want to be, you know, but I have to work, you know, so what am I going to do, you know? Even if it's just for a little bit of time, I have to work, you know. And then by the time, and it doesn't happen like I would like it to happen. It's like it's not me working, but this may be different. I have to give it a chance because I did request for part-time. Okay. So maybe that'll make a difference because I don't have that much exposure, get in and get out. But the thing about it is their part-time is different. Their part-time is right at the threshold. It's not like you can do 15 hours a week or 20 hours a week. It's right at the threshold of full-time. So probably what'll end up happening is you'll end up being full-time without knowing it, and then you'll end up being transferred over to full-time anyhow. I'm not trying to make that happen. I requested a schedule that was specifically 4 days just to see how, you know, see what happens. But I can't do it, guys. I can't. And then what happens is that you start picking up, like I said, and it shouldn't be this way. I always talk about how you should be the thermostat, not the thermometer. But what ends up happening is that I've become the thermostat. Okay. So everybody else is acting goofy. I really don't like this shit. So, I don't even care no more, you know? And then the thing about it is, like I said, that operations manager, she act like she didn't see that them folks didn't turn on their cameras. The people that are in leadership. And then this woman that's running the class or whatever, she beautifully said, make sure you have your cameras on for professional. This young woman, which I do respect today, but but young 22, 23, I was mad at her the first day because she was messing with my computer. I didn't like that, you without permission. You ask first. But I do have some form of respect for her. I do. I really do. I think that she, just like a lot of people, are just trying to keep their job. So they're doing whatever they're told, however they're told. And, but what happens is that when you have people in leadership that do the wrong thing, you're training the younger people. You're training people that are not in places of leadership to behave that way, because that's how they're going to see that, oh, this is the way to get to the top. And you can see that clearly after those quote unquote leadership people came in. That white girl, that girl that didn't have her camera, never had her. Some people never ever had a camera on, and they tell all kinds of stories. So you can tell when there's a system issue. You can tell by the way the camera shows up, or if they just decided they was gonna cover their camera. You can tell, okay. But you could tell because she made it a point. She did just like the black girl did. It was very vocal, but not on camera. And then it pissed me off today because I came in, I looked up, she's not on camera, but I see her husband or somebody with toilet paper leaning up on the wall. Come on now, we at work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and it's not like you don't have virtual backgrounds and shit that you can put up. So it just all just really got on my nerves. But that's where the my daddy's thing of, you can't beat them, join them. Okay, there's nothing I can do because right now I need the money. You know what I'm saying? As little as it may be, I have to at least try to make it through this week. And I was playing around with my virtual backgrounds or whatever because I was just, and that's what I mean. I don't like the way that I'm behaving. I was messing with my virtual backgrounds the whole time. I really was. And I was just enjoying myself laughing at my own virtual background. I'm sure people saw that. So I was adding to that, whatever that is. But the thing about it is that uh, the thing that made me want to cry, I'll get to that, is because I know that what happens is that in order for me to just to survive a place that I don't like, and again, I don't care if it's paying minimum wage or if it's paying $40 an hour, okay? It's just when I see stuff like that, and then you can't say anything, or you don't have the energy to say anything, or you've had enough experience where it doesn't mean anything if you say something. It's just your best bet just to go. But you ain't got nowhere to go because you got to pay bills, so you got to stay there for a minute. And so to kind of, some people self medicate with drugs and all that. I don't do that. My medication is just to just numb it out, just tune it out, and keep on moving and keep going. But the thing is that people can clearly see, because I think I'm very expressive, what I like and what I don't like. And after a while, people get offended and they'll start to push buttons back on me. But I can't. I just can't. And then it's like I feel like I'm wasting my life. I'm almost 50, and I don't think I can afford to keep doing this, but I can't afford not to. So it's like a rock and a hard place. It's a rock and a hard place. So I didn't make myself clear, but I'm gonna do this because, and I used to keep a journal. That's what the legal system did. It took that away from me. I would have a journal that I would write in, and it was good, nice and clear. And the good thing about a journal is that when you finish with it, you can publish it as a book, and you get to go. And I do have a couple books out, by the way. But and maybe I need to get back into that. But now everything's for sale. I'm for sale. I'm on the on the internet sharing my life story for sale, and not for much because it's not monetized, but in hopes of monetization in the future. Nothing's private anymore. But that's where my struggle is. And thank you for people that left comments. I saw them. Usually I take comments, and like in the Asian cultures, it's like a business card. The comments is like a business card. You take them with both hands and you look at them and relish it. I relished it for the moment, but I just trying to numb my way through to get through, through this week. Um, I just feel like I'm so stuck, to be this age. And then, like on the chat thing, like I said, there was a young man. He was only like 22 and he had some kind of degree in neuroscience and genetic engineering or something. And he was talking about how he started his new job next week. And I was thinking to myself, that sounds all good, but I know the truth behind that. When you get into neuroscience and genetic engineering, I know because when I went through the legal thing, like I said, I had an ex football player approach me and I was just like, what is going on? And I guess they were trying to bait me. They were putting different people in front of me and see how I respond. But he tried to offer me a job as an admin for him. And I was just like, but you're a football player. But he was just like, yeah, he's retired now, but the FBI hired him. It was real, you guys, because I looked him up and everything. I was like, that's weird as fuck. I'm not doing that. So, but he didn't seem like a bad person. But then again, he may have been paid. And for anybody that's been through the legal system, they know I'm not bullshitting. This is some real shit that this is real shit that happens. And I wouldn't have even admitted it, but other people that were around saw these things and they would tell me, yeah, they watch it. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't want to be the one to say it because I didn't want to be the one to say it, but it's true. But anyhow, whatever. And when you're chatting, you don't know who you're chatting with, so it's just whatever. But it's a good way to kind of boost out a little bit. But yeah, but that's what brings me to tears because it's like I feel like I can't never get ahead. Because I start getting gung ho on my business, and then I got to earn money, and so then I go back to work, and then the places that I'm working, I'm not liking. And like I said, it got to the point where I'm not even picky anymore about the pay and stuff. I don't care as long as they pay the bills. I don't really care. But it doesn't matter because whether it's low level pay or a fairly decent level pay, you get the same type of bullshit just in different measures. It just happens a little differently. And for me, I've been like this. I don't care as long as my bills are paid. But anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm sure that I didn't make this as clear as I would want. And maybe I'll start journaling again so that it can be clear. And perhaps that would garner more view if people knew what the fuck I was trying to talk about. But it's just I just wanted it to be documented for my purposes, because this is a journey and this is repetitive. This happens all the time, and it needs to stop. So it has to come to a point where somebody told me you have to let go of one wall. But if I let go, and I shouldn't be afraid of being homeless, if I could let the court order me to homelessness, I can allow myself to be homeless to try to work on what I got to work on. But I think it's the stigma behind it that gets to it too. Speaking about homelessness, I was watching this thing. I think her name was Jacqueline Smith. It was a black woman or something. Jacqueline S. Shoot. And oh my God. And she got murdered. And her husband, what it was that her husband and her stepdaughter murdered her, and they went off to elope. And the story they told was saying that somebody asked them for money, and he said it's so lovely. And his wife gave him the money, and he said, "Oh, can I come and say thank you?" And he said, "Yeah." And the guy stabbed him. That wasn't true. And just recently in Valdosta, there was a story, and I don't believe that this is necessarily true either. You never hear the other person's part of the story. There's a couple stories like this, and they try to pin it on homeless people or whatever, but really, homeless people, it's not like that. But um, two different stories. One was there was a guy near Church's Chicken, and this news story on Newsbreak said that he asked this man for money. The man said no, and he hit him. And the man took the rifle out the car and was trying to push him off. And the police came. I think that man probably took that rifle out the car just to let him know that he didn't like bums. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the whole story. And then there was another story where this woman out of the Atlanta area, she was supposedly, and scared me because she's 10 years older than me, and we kind of look the same, shape the same, except she's light skinned. But she was supposedly trying to mentor this guy. She's 56, the guy's 27. Why was she mentoring him at his house? You know what I'm saying? When I don't think any woman, and I'm glad I saw the story, should mentor some male, I don't care if he's grown or not, alone. You know what I'm saying? And her story sounded a lot like the things that I'm into doing. It was almost word for word. They said something about how she liked to give people that didn't have a chance or whatever. And her family was telling her not to, deal with this dude. Yeah, you can deal with him, but somebody should have been there with her. And so you don't know what the real situation was. Whether she was hot in the pants and she was, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the situation. Or perhaps women can be predators too. And just because he's 27 doesn't mean that he can't be a victim. What if she was, you know, you know, or let him on, or it's something crazy. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't know the whole story. You know, you don't know. And unless you have somebody to speak up for you, nobody may never know, you know? So they don't ever show both sides of the story. I want to hear what the other guy had to say, because something just don't sit completely right. I do believe she was a good person, this, that, and the other, but, something's not right there. But, then they try to blame it on homeless people, just like they try to blame stuff on black men all the time. But so that's my struggle right now. My struggle is just, simply put, or if you want to know what I do, I work random technical support and customer service jobs, and I have an online store, and I'm trying to fund my two small businesses. One of them is in the technology field, and the other one is a nonprofit in humanities. The humanities is my passion, technology is my passion as well, but it's on a creative side. And also, I try to promote self love because it's so important in your older years. So that's who I am. That's what I do. This is my struggle. Y'all can join me on my journey. We'll we'll see. And I'm saying it this way to kind of encourage me to post about it, because usually when I'm already done with a job, when I feel like it's done, like it ain't my thing, that I'm just gonna hang in there until something happens. I usually stop talking about it, because what is there to talk about? You don't like it. What what are you gonna talk about? And normally, like I said, I miss the old days when I used to write things out, because when you write, um, it's a better thing. So maybe I start doing that again. But for me, the thing has been these days time, you know, and so I need to do that. I have paper, I have notebooks, I have a pen. I need to put it to pen and paper. I used to be able to write pages, 15, 20. I used to be able to fill up a notebook in a day, and I'm sure that I probably still can. But anyhow, I'm sure there's no business owners watching this. But and let me readjust what people's perception of business owners are. It doesn't mean that you look good. It doesn't mean that you're well off. What it means is that you have an idea, a desire, a passion in mind. You put together, at the at the most mid level, you put together your money, you paid for a business license, and you're operating legally according to the government, so that you're able to make money and this, that, and other. And some people pay those fines or fees because they want to encourage themselves to make sure that they stay on it, that, you're not just going to let stuff dissolve. You're going to take care of it. So that's where I am, so that's what I'm trying to do. Everybody starts somewhere. This is where I'm starting. This is a journey that should have started 20 years ago that I did, but went through various things and it didn't happen that way. Let me turn this notification off. It's getting on my nerves. But it didn't happen that way. So I need you guys to support me on my journey. Hopefully, if some business owners are here, and I don't care if it's just an online store you got, I don't care if it's just a thought and you haven't gotten registered, but people with that mind or that knowledge that they need to work for themselves, period. Let me know what your struggles are. Those are my struggles. And when I've gotten, and I haven't been talking much about the business and my little chat things that I'm doing, but when I've gotten with people, that are legitimate business owners, the struggle that I'm talking about is the same, and actually the company that I work for, as an employee, it's a small company too. And one of the introductory videos, the guy was talking about how he had employees. He couldn't pay his employees. The way he was paying his employees was with his credit cards. You know what I'm saying? That is just hella scary. You know what I'm saying? Hella scary. That's scary as fuck. Scary, you know? But you got to do what you got to do. If you got to dream or passion, you got to make it happen, you know? And like I said, I'm all for 50 Cent, where he had that quote, get rich or die trying. I'm not even trying. I'm just trying to be able to be financially independent, where I'm paying my own bills. I don't have to be around people I don't want to be around. Because even though you're not in a homeless shelter, even though you're not in the legal system, it's still the same thing as being institutionalized, because you're at work, you're around people that you don't want to be around. You're around people that don't have the same set values that you have. You know what I'm saying? And it rubs off on you. Or if you've been exposed to that, if you've been through the legal system, you've been exposed to, that type of thing, and you start to divert over there like, okay, fine, you know. That's not who I want to be. That's not where I want to be, you know. But anyways, hopefully I'm clear. When I get a chance, I'll probably not even be able to have a chance to go back and look at this. But I will look to see how I felt about what I had to say. But it's true, it's from the heart. But anyways, I'm gonna go. I need to go take a shower and, you know, decompress. Bye. Oh, let me think though. What else bothered me about today? Let me think about it real quick. I just I don't remember, but I know that the girl with the man in the background with the toilet paper got on my nerves. And then you had, I mean, just, but anyhow, whatever.